shifting gears, as we used to say in talk radio, I wanted to mention there is a new word, a new phrase, a new slur, a new disgusting movement within the fascist Christians in this country that used to be the Republican Party. You know, I have never seen in my lifetime, never, with one possible exception, I've never seen anything as shocking as what the Christians in the United States have become. A force for absolute putrid evil. The fascist Christians. If you go to church on Sunday and sing from the hymnal and throw a little bit into the collection plate and wish that you could do better good works and listen to the pastor, okay, I'm not referring to you, am I? I'm talking about the fascist Christians. The only thing that has been more shocking to me was a brief moment when I discovered a couple of years ago that Buddhists in Myanmar were killing, slaughtering Muslims who lived there for generations. Buddhists. Oh my God. But I digress. The latest of the fascist Christians in this country is the overuse, the constant use of this new term that they have totally perverted, grooming. Groomer. A groomer is somebody who is doing something actively or passively to prepare children to be sexually violated. And the fascist Christians running for public office or in public office, the Q fuckers and the rest of these crazy goddamn people have taken this term now and they're pushing it to the absolute max. They're identifying people as groomers. The latest victim that in the political realm, I just read about this morning, it's from Yahoo News. There's a Michigan state senator. Her name is Malloy McMorrow. And she decided to push back against this growing trend of fascist Christians who are labeling their Democratic opponents for public office as groomers and pedophiles. God damn. And Miss McMorrow, Senator McMorrow, recorded a speech that has gone viral. She responded yesterday morning to accusations made in a fundraising email by a Republican that is a fascist Christian state senator named Lana Thies, that Miss McMorrow, her Democratic colleague, wanted to, quote, groom and sexualize kindergartners, end quote. Can you fucking believe this? At the beginning of her video remarks, Senator McMorrow said this, quote, I didn't expect to wake up yesterday to the news that the senator from the 22nd District had overnight accused me by name of grooming and sexualizing children in an email fundraising for herself. So I sat on it for a while, wondering, why me? And then I realized, because I am the biggest threat to her hollow, hateful scheme. Because she can't claim that she is targeting and marginalizing kids in the name of parental rights if another parent is standing up to say no, end quote. Now, what she's talking about here is that Republicans, fascist Christians, have attempted to position themselves as the party of parental rights. That's how the new, relatively newly elected governor of Virginia, a Republican, a fascist Christian, that's how he was elected, defeating the Democratic candidate back in November. This parental rights crap. The completely made-up term. Oh, for fuck's sake. If you're a parent, have you ever felt your rights were being abridged by some political action? I've been a parent most of my goddamn life, and I've never felt that. But it doesn't make any difference what reality is. state legislatures across this country are introducing all sorts of bills that target the LGBTQ community, with the people who are opposing these bullshit bills are being labeled as groomers. Groomers. And these crazy fuckers, these fascist Christians, are also targeting books. And not just in school libraries. The latest, keep in mind, that public libraries are funded with public money. And there's always, within a city administration somewhere, a library board that makes the purchases, that decides what books are going to be available. That is these son of a bitches' next target. Just like once they get rid of a woman's right to make her own decisions in private about her reproductive self, next will come the attack on birth control. These fascist Christians are just fucking out of control. But they've also targeted books that discuss race and gender. And in some states, they've already done this. In other states, they're attempting to make it illegal for parents to seek so-called gender-affirming care for their transgender children. I mean, it's just an outrage. An outrage. Parents dealing with the transgender kid, and the parents are trying to find a point of balance, some way to adjust their own emotional, psychological lives to what is happening with their children, because it does take adjustment, I'm sure. And along come these fascist Christians and say, well, you try to do that, and we're going to pass laws to make you a lawbreaker. So, back to Senator McMorrow. She's addressing the bitch, Senator Lana Thies. McMorrow says, so then what? Then you dehumanize and marginalize me? You say that I'm one of them? You say she's a groomer. She supports pedophilia. She wants children to believe that they were responsible for slavery and to feel bad about themselves because they're white, end quote. Senator McMorrow's speech has been viewed over 9 million times in the less than 24 hours since she posted it to her Twitter account. And according to Yahoo News, during her comments, Senator McMorrow talked about growing up, being active in her church, working with her mother at a soup kitchen, the civil rights work of Father Ted Hesburgh, remember him, the former president of her alma mater, Notre Dame. She said, quote, and this is part of the video, she said, I learned that service was far more important than performative nonsense like being seen in the same pew every Sunday or writing Christian in your Twitter bio and using that as a shield to target and marginalize already marginalized people, end quote. She was emphasizing that she is a white, straight Christian suburban mom, and that those promoting the attacks were using it to deflect from the fact that they're not working on the real issues. This is how McMorrow concluded, and by the video, and she was first elected in 2018. She's on the ballot again this November, obviously, but she said this, quote, I know that hate will only win if people like me stand by and let it happen. So I want to be very clear right now. Call me whatever you want. I hope you brought in a few dollars. I hope it made you sleep good last night. I know who I am. I know what faith and service means and what it calls for in this moment. We will not let hate win, end quote. Now, the bitch who put together this horrible fundraising video against Senator McMorrow, her rhetoric in the fundraising email sent out on Monday said this, quote, these are the people we're up against, progressive social media trolls like Senator Malloy McMorrow, who are outraged they can't teach and groom, they can't sexualize kindergartners, or the 8-year-olds are responsible for slavery. She added that enlightened elites believe parents must surrender to the wisdom of teacher unions, trans activists, and the education bureaucracy. End quote. Now, this crazy bitch targeted Senator McMorrow and other Democrats in the Senate after they walked out of a session last Wednesday due to the content of Thies's invocation, which the legislators took as a precursor to action against LGBTQ educators. This is what Thies, the bitch, said in her invocation. Quote, "Dear Lord, across the country we're seeing in the news that our children are under attack, that there are forces that desire things for them other than what their parents would have them see and hear and know. Dear Lord, I pray for your guidance in this chamber to protect the most vulnerable among us." That's what she said. She's also chair of the Senate Education and Career Readiness Committee. Now, the forces that she describes, of course, the evil forces are public school teachers. And the things are the LGBTQ community. So it's very obvious that to pervert, subvert, to bastardize the Senate invocation, a simple prayer, in the way this bitch did it, is absolutely disgusting, but typical of these fascist Christians. These are the kind of people who sent the Jews to the ovens. Do you understand me? These are the kinds of people who have no problem at all with the kind of genocide and murder that we have seen so many times, that we're seeing now in Ukraine. And they call themselves Christians. Senator McMorrow, after this phony-ass invocation, added on Twitter, quote, "Without sharing or repeating closed-minded, harmful words from a sitting senator under the guise of a prayer, to every child in Michigan, you are perfect and welcome and loved for being exactly who you are." End quote. But this is what the Christian fascists are doing. And they're getting away with it. When is mainstream media going to label these goddamn monsters for what they are? Use the word Christian. It's starting to happen a little bit. Some of the commentators on DC, the guests who are invited by the commentators, are finally starting to add the word Christian into this madness. How did we get here? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.